The call, a life-changing story. The vinyl chair was cold and unyielding against my back, a stark contrast to the stifling, antiseptic air of the doctor's waiting room. It was a place of muted sighs, the rustle of old magazines, and the silent, shared anxiety of people bracing for news. I was there for a general checkup, a suggestion from my daughter, Angela. "Mom, you need to take better care of yourself now that you're alone," she'd said, her voice dripping with a concern I had mistaken for love. Alone? The word still felt like a physical blow. 6 months on, Robert, my Robert, was gone. A heart attack, swift and silent, over breakfast. One moment he was pouring my coffee, cream just the way I liked it. The next, he was gone. His last words, a gentle, "Good morning, my love." The world had shrunk to the size of my empty house, filled only with the ghost of his presence. When my phone vibrated in my purse, a jarringly cheerful ringtone Angela had set for herself, a flicker of warmth went through me. Perhaps she was checking in. Perhaps she was coming over later. "Mom?" The single syllable was off. The usual lilt, the subtle warmth that usually colored her voice when she spoke to me, was absent. It was flat, almost metallic. "Angela? Honey, is everything all right? We're going on a trip to Europe tomorrow." The statement was delivered like a weather report. "I already sold your beach house and your car. We needed the money. Bye." The line went dead. Click. The sound was so final, so small, yet it seemed to suck all the air from the room. I sat there, the phone still pressed to my ear, the dial tone a dull hum in the silence she had left behind. 45 years. 45 years of sleepless nights, of scraped knees, bandaged, of dreams quietly set aside, of love poured unconditionally into this one human being. And she had discarded me like a piece of garbage with a 2-minute phone call. The beach house, our sanctuary. Robert and I had scrimped and saved 4 years to buy it when Angela was 15. It wasn't just a building. It was the repository of our happiest memories. Every summer, every Christmas, every birthday, the smell of salt and sunscreen, the sound of Robert's laughter as he grilled fish on the barbecue, the sight of Angela, first as a gawky teenager, then a blushing bride, posing for pictures on the porch he had built with his own hands. I had cooked, cleaned, and laundered for everyone, believing it was our family tradition. She saw it as an asset, a check, and the car. That old Ford pickup truck, Robert's pride and joy. He'd washed it every Sunday with a religious devotion, humming old tunes as he soaped and rinsed. Its seats still held the faint, comforting scent of his aftershave. It was the last tangible piece of him I had left to hold on to, and she had sold it for a pittance. A wave of nausea threatened to overwhelm me. The other patients in the waiting room blurred into a watercolor of pitying faces. I felt the familiar pressure of tears building behind my eyes, the same tears that had been my constant companions since Robert's death. But then, something remarkable happened. A strange, cold calm settled over me, washing away the grief and the shock. It was a clarity I hadn't felt in months. I took a deep, deliberate breath, and I smiled, because there was something my dear, cold-hearted daughter didn't know. My name is Antonia Brooks. I'm 71 years old, and in that moment of profound betrayal, I remembered the envelope. 3 days before he died, Robert had pressed a simple manila envelope into my hands. His eyes, those kind, intelligent eyes, were serious. "Antonia, Put this in the drawer of your dresser. If something happens to me, open it after a while, but only when you feel ready, when you truly need it." Bewildered, I had done as he asked, tucking it away beneath my sweaters. In the cataclysmic grief that followed his passing, with the funeral arrangements and the suffocating loneliness, I had forgotten it completely. But now, its presence in the house was a palpable thing, a lifeline. The nurse called my name. I stood, my legs steady. The doctor examined me, a kind man with tired eyes. "You're in good health for your age, Mrs. Brooks," he said. "Just need to rest more, eat better." I nodded and smiled, a serene, practiced smile. My mind was already miles away, in my bedroom, focused on that drawer. I left the office and walked slowly to the bus stop. I no longer had a car, according to Angela. The thought was so absurd, it was almost funny. As I waited, watching the city bustle around me, I couldn't help but appreciate the dark poetry of it all. My daughter thought she had left me with nothing, a destitute old woman. But what she didn't know was that Robert, my brilliant, forward-thinking Robert, had always been a man who planned ahead. The bus arrived, and I sat by the window. Houses, stores, and people rushed by, each locked in their own private dramas. I had my own secret now, and I was about to discover its dimensions. The house was silent when I returned, the silence of a place that has lost its heart. I didn't bother turning on many lights. I went straight to my bedroom, to the heavy oak dresser that had stood sentinel in the corner for decades. My hands trembled only slightly as I moved the soft, folded sweaters, and there it was. The manila envelope, crisp and waiting. Robert had written my name on the front in his neat, precise handwriting. "Antonia." I carried it to the bed we had shared for over 45 years, and sat on the edge, the weight of the day pressing down on me. The room was filling with the long, familiar shadows of dusk, but for the first time, they didn't feel menacing. They felt like a shield. I opened the envelope slowly, reverently, as if unwrapping a sacred relic. Inside was a stack of documents and a letter, several pages long, in Robert's hand. My eyes filled with tears, just seeing his writing, the elegant loops and firm lines. "My dearest Antonia, if you are reading this, it means I am no longer with you. Forgive me for not telling you everything while I was alive, but I wanted to protect you from worries. You have always been the heart of our family, the emotional center, and I never wanted financial concerns to burden that beautiful heart. Over the years, I invested our savings, not in risky schemes, but in solid, tangible things. Antonia, we don't just have the beach house. We have 6 other properties, including the apartment building where Angela and Edward live. We also have shares in 3 companies that are worth more than you can possibly imagine. You are rich, my love. You always were rich in all the ways that truly matter. But now you are on paper, too." A sob caught in my throat. I looked through the documents with shaking hands. Deeds to houses in neighborhoods I knew, a sleek downtown condo, a small, charming motel on the coast, and indeed, the deed for the prestigious 20-story North Tower, where my daughter resided in penthouse luxury. Robert had been the silent owner for a decade, operating through a company I'd never heard of, Brooks Holdings, LLC. And, according to the papers, I was the sole heir and owner of that company. There were bank statements, 2, 4 accounts I never knew existed. The numbers had so many zeros, they seemed unreal. Robert, a bus driver for 40 years, had been a financial savant. Every penny we'd saved, every vacation we'd skipped, every little sacrifice we'd made, he had multiplied in silence. He had built an empire for us, and I had been blissfully unaware, happy in our simple, love-filled life. I returned to the letter, my heart pounding. You know our daughter, Antonia. If she knew we had so much money, her attitude would change. I've seen the way Edward looks at our modest life, with barely concealed disdain. I want her to love us for who we are, not for what we have. I feared the money would change her, and not for the better. The prescience of his words took my breath away. He had seen the seeds of this, long before I had. Our daughter had left us, thinking we had nothing, when in reality, we had everything. The lawyer who handled all of this is Samuel Peterson. He's a good man, discreet. His number is at the end of this letter. Trust him. Trust him. I love you, Antonia. I have loved you from the moment I saw you, and I will love you long after my last breath. Be strong, my love. Be happy. With all my heart, Robert, I clutched the papers to my chest, the tears flowing freely now. They were not tears of sadness, but of awe, of love for the man who had cared for me so profoundly, even from beyond the grave. And they were tears of righteous fire. Angela and Edward had not just stolen from a widow. They had stolen from Robert. They had spat on his legacy. That night, I didn't sleep. I paced the house, a queen surveying a kingdom she had only just discovered she owned. I ran my hands over the outdated knickknacks Angela had always criticized, looked at the family photos on the wall, especially the one of a 5-year-old Angela sitting on Robert's lap, her face alight with innocent laughter. Where had that little girl gone? When had she been replaced by this cold, calculating stranger? The game had changed. And for the first time since Robert's death, I was holding all the cards. The phone rang early the next morning. It was Angela again. Her voice was different, softer, layered with a false sweetness I now recognized. Mom, how are you? I'm fine, honey. I kept my voice neutral, a calm lake surface hiding turbulent depths. I wanted to tell you we transferred the money from the house and the car. We deposited your share into your account. It's not much, but it'll help you live for a few months while you look for something smaller. My share. The audacity. Your share? I asked, my voice deceptively mild. Yes, Mom. We obviously weren't going to leave you with nothing. She had the gall to sound slightly offended. We gave you 30%. That's fair, right? We need the money for our investment in Europe. Edward has an incredible business opportunity over there. 30% of my own things. They had looted my life and presented me with a pittance as if it were a generous gift. I see, I said, the words tasting like ash. And when do you leave? This afternoon. Our bags are already packed. We'll be gone for at least 6 months. Maybe more if the business goes well. She paused, and I could almost hear the condescending smile. But don't worry, Mom. When we get back, we'll help you find a small apartment. Something that fits your needs, fits my needs. As if she had the faintest idea what my needs were. The need for respect, for loyalty, for the love of my only child. Okay, Angela, have a safe trip. Oh, Mom, I knew you'd understand. The relief in her voice was palpable. You've always been so compassionate. We love you so much. Click. I stood there, the phone humming in my hand. And then I laughed. It started as a small chuckle and grew into a full-bodied cathartic roar that echoed through the empty house. I laughed until tears streamed down my face, tears of pure, unadulterated absurdity. The situation was so grotesque, it was comical. I checked my bank account online. Sure enough, a deposit had been made in amount that was a mockery of the property's true value. They had sold in a hurry, desperate for cash. That afternoon, from my living room window, I watched the final act of their betrayal. A taxi pulled up. Edward, looking smug and self-important, loaded two enormous, expensive suitcases into the trunk. Angela followed, clutching a designer Karajan. They laughed, they kissed, they looked like two movie stars off on a grand adventure. They never once glanced toward my window, never said goodbye. As the taxi disappeared down the street, I sat at the kitchen table, Robert's documents spread before me like a battle map. I had to make decisions. I could call Mr. Peterson, reclaim everything immediately, and have Angela charged with fraud. It would be swift and legally satisfying, but something in me rebelled against that idea. A lawsuit would only create a different kind of void, a permanent, legal chasm between us. It would be a punishment, not a lesson. No, I wanted something else. I wanted her to understand. I wanted her to feel the full weight of her actions, to stare into the abyss she had so casually pushed me toward. I wanted her to learn the value of what she had so carelessly destroyed. I picked up the phone and dialed Mr. Peterson's number. "Mrs. Brooks," he said, his voice warm with professional sympathy. "It's good to hear from you. How are you holding up?" "I'm well, Mr. Peterson. I need to see you urgently. I found some documents from Robert that I don't quite understand. Of course, you can come to my office tomorrow morning. I'll be there." That night, I slept soundly for the first time in months. I dreamed of Robert. He was in his favorite armchair, reading the newspaper. He looked up over his reading glasses and smiled. "It's about time, my love," he said, his voice clear as day. "It's about time you stood up for yourself." I woke not with happiness, nor with sadness, but with a steely determination. I had a purpose. The next morning, I dressed with care. I put on my wine-colored dress, the one Robert always said made me look elegant. I fixed my silver hair and applied a little makeup. The woman staring back from the mirror wasn't a broken widow. She was Antonia Brooks, heir to a small fortune, and she was ready for war. Mr. Peterson's office was downtown, in an old building with marble floors and a hushed, important air. He was a man in his late 50s, with a sharp mind and kind eyes. When I showed him the documents, his professional composure slipped. "Mrs. Brooks," he breathed, shuffling through the papers, This is much more than I imagined. Robert was a very, very smart man." "I know," I said calmly. "What I need to know is what I can do legally." He explained that everything was in perfect order. I was the rightful owner. He confirmed that the sale of the beach house was illegal, as Angela had no legal standing to sell it. "We can get the house back immediately," he said, leaning forward. "And we can also proceed with legal action against your daughter for fraud and exploitation." "No, Mr. Peterson," I said firmly. "I don't want to press charges, not yet. I want to do this another way. I want everything to remain a secret." He looked at me, curiosity warring with professional advice. "May I ask why?" "Because a lawsuit teaches someone they got caught. I want to teach my daughter a lesson about character. Can you help me?" He studied me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Of course. You are my client. What do you need?" "I need you to discreetly get the beach house back, nullify that sale, and I need you to help me gain real, direct control of all my properties." especially the North Tower. I understand. It will take a few weeks, but it's completely feasible. Perfect. And Mr. Peterson, I added, locking eyes with him. No one is to know I am behind this. No one. When I left his office, I felt like I was walking on air. I had taken the first step. The following weeks were the strangest of my life. I lived a double life. Publicly, I was the pitiable Antonia, the widow abandoned by her ungrateful daughter. I played the part perfectly. I accepted casseroles from neighbors, listened to their pitying clucks, and nodded gratefully when they offered to help with my groceries. Privately, I was the commander of a silent campaign. Mr. Peterson was my general. Every few days, he would call with an update. The beach house sale was nullified. The buyers, innocent parties themselves, were refunded. The house was mine again. I decided to visit it. I took the bus, the long, familiar route to the coast. The house stood there, just as it always had, cream-colored and welcoming, the ocean roaring behind it. I sat on the cub across the street, watching for an hour, letting the memories wash over me. An older gentleman came out, noticing me. "Are you all right, ma'am?" he asked kindly. "Yes, thank you. I'm just remembering. I knew the former owners." "Ah, a shame what happened," he said, shaking his head. "They told us the elderly lady was very sick and needed to sell fast. We thought it was a steal, but the sale wasn't legal. We had to give it back." The lie cut deep. She hadn't just stolen my house. She had stolen my dignity, painting me as a sick, helpless old woman to facilitate her theft. "I'm glad you didn't lose your money," I said, my voice steady. I left with a heavy heart, but a reinforced resolve. The next part of my plan was already in motion. Mr. Peterson's call came several weeks later. "Mrs. Brooks, the paperwork is complete. You have total control." I also managed to get Robert's truck back. The buyer was understanding. "Excellent work," I said. "Now, there's one more thing. I want you to send a letter to my daughter." "What kind of letter?" "An eviction notice for her apartment at the North Tower." Silence. "Mrs. Brooks, are you sure?" "Completely sure," I said, my voice cold as iron. She decided I wasn't important in her life. Now she's going to find out how important I really am. I didn't have to wait long. The neighborhood gossip mill, fueled by my ever-watchful neighbor Aurora, soon provided the news. Edward was in deep trouble with the banks. The loans he'd taken out, using the apartment as collateral, were fraudulent. The news reached Europe, and it seemed Angela was coming back alone. Edward, it turned out, had no real business there. It was all a lie to escape his debts. The incredible opportunity was a fantasy. Mr. Peterson confirmed it. Angela had landed, alone. Edward had stayed behind, reportedly after a massive fight. "Send the letter," I instructed. The next day, Aurora came bustling over. "Antonia, dear, Angela's back." I saw her go into her building last night with just one suitcase. She looked terrible. And get this, she didn't have her keys. Edward must have them. She had to get the super to let her in. I simply nodded, a mask of maternal concern on my face. The phone rang the next morning at 8 a.m. sharp. It was Angela, her voice frayed with panic. "Mom? Mom, I need to talk to you urgently." "Good morning, honey. How was Europe?" I asked, my tone gently probing. "Mom, I don't have time for that. I received a letter. An eviction notice. I have 30 days to vacate the apartment. It must be a mistake, right? Do you know anything about this? I could picture her, the paper shaking in her hands. An eviction notice. How strange. From whom? From a company called Roberts Investments, Inc. Do you know that company? I allowed a beat of silence, savoring the poetry. Robert's name, coming back to haunt her. No, honey, I've never heard that name. Are you sure the letter is legitimate? That's what I want to find out. Mom, I need you to help me. I don't know what to do. Edward left me. He ran off with another woman. And now I come back to this. Her voice broke into sobs. I don't have anyone else. The irony was so perfect, it was painful. Now that the man she'd chosen over me was gone, she remembered she had a mother. Of course, honey, I said, layering my voice with soft concern. Where are you now? I'm in the apartment, but I don't know for how long. Mom, can I come see you? I need to talk to someone. Of course, come over whenever you want. I'm on my way. I hung up and looked in the mirror. It was time for my greatest performance. I changed into a simple, worn-out gray dress, the uniform of a struggling widow. I practiced looking worried and helpless. When Angela arrived, I was shocked by her appearance. She had lost weight, her expensive clothes were rumpled, her eyes swollen and Mom, she said, and for a second, she seemed to sway toward me for a hug, but stopped. The memory of her actions creating an invisible wall. Come in, honey. Do you want some coffee? We sat at the kitchen table. She looked small and lost, like the child she once was. Mom, I'm so sorry for the way I left. I know I didn't treat you well. It's in the past, honey, I said, waving a dismissive hand. No, it's not. Her voice was firm, laced with a new desperation. I treated you badly. I said horrible things, and now she broke down. Now I have no one. She told me everything. Edward's lies, the fake business, the other woman, the massive debts he had hidden and even forged her signature to obtain. And on top of it all, this eviction notice. Mom, I don't know what to do. I don't have money. I don't have a job. I don't have anywhere to live. She cried, genuine tears of despair, and a part of me, the mother, ached to hold her. But the memory of her cold voice on the phone was a shield around my heart. Did you talk to a lawyer about the letter? I don't have money for a lawyer. Mom, we spent everything in Europe. Edward took what was left. So, what are you going to do? I asked, my voice soft. She looked down at her hands, twisting in her lap. I thought maybe I could stay with you for a while, just until I find a job and can get a small place. There it was, the request I had been waiting for. After everything, she was asking the woman she had rendered homeless for a home. Of course, honey, I said, my voice dripping with manufactured compassion. This will always be your home. The look of shock and relief on her face was something to behold. Really, Mom, after everything, you are my daughter, Angela. That will never change. She got up and hugged me, a desperate, clinging hug. I hugged her back, my arms around her, but my heart was a fortress, my plan firmly in place. Angela moved back into her old childhood room the next day. I watched her unpack the meager remnants of her luxurious life, each movement etched with humiliation. It was time for the next phase of her education. I had to let her hit rock bottom. She started looking for a job, but her ruined credit and pending legal problems closed every door. Finally, she was offered a part-time job cleaning offices at night. "Are you going to take it?" I asked, feigning concern. "I have no choice," she said, her shoulders slumping. "It pays very little, but it's something. I can't keep being a burden to you, Mom." I watched her leave for her first shift, my heart a conflicting storm of pity and pride. She was learning. One evening, she came to me with a manila envelope. "Mom, I found this among Edward's things. It has your name on it." It was another envelope from Robert. My heart leapt, but I kept my composure. Inside was a short letter and a small key. The letter explained it was for a safety deposit box, to help you help her, but use it wisely. Angela's eyes lit up with desperate hope. A safety deposit box. Maybe there's something valuable, something that can help us. We went to the bank the next day. The box contained family jewel heirlooms from Robert's family worth nearly $200,000. "Mom, this is a fortune," Angela exclaimed. "We could sell them. You could get your house back, and I could pay off some of Edward's debts." "Are you sure?" I asked gently. "They're family memories. What other option do I have?" she said, the desperation returning. "If I don't pay something, they'll take everything." I let her make the decision. I watched as she meticulously researched and sold the jewels, reducing our family's history to a spreadsheet of debt payments. It was a necessary, painful part of her journey. Meanwhile, Mr. Peterson was working in the background. He had located Edward in Paris, attempting a fraudulent marriage for residency. More importantly, he had gathered irrefutable evidence that Edward had forged Angela's signature. She was not legally responsible for the debts. The trap was set. It was time for the reveal. I had Mr. Peterson arrange a meeting, telling Angela only that I had found a lawyer who might help. She was nervous, wringing her hands in his expensive office. "I should warn you, I probably can't afford your fees," she told him. Mr. Peterson handed her a folder. "That's what we're here to discuss. Please review these," she read, her face shifting from confusion to stunned disbelief. "I don't understand. These say I'm not responsible. The forgery. Who paid for this?" Mr. Peterson looked at me. "It was time." "Angela," I said, my voice calm and clear. "There's something I need to tell you. Your father left me more than you knew. Much more." Mr. Peterson handed her the second folder, the one with the property deeds, the bank statements, the truth of Brooks Holdings, LLC. She read in silence, the documents trembling in her hands. The color drained from her face. "Mom, this says you own the building where I lived. All these properties." She looked up, her eyes wide with shock and dawning horror. "How long have you known this?" "Since the day you called me from the doctor's office." The silence in the room was absolute. She had just processed the most devastating truth of her life. I had possessed the power to solve all her problems, and I had watched her suffer. "Why?" she whispered, the word laden with betrayal. "Why did you let me suffer? Why did you let me clean offices and sell Grandma's jewels when you could have helped me?" This was the moment I had planned for all along. "Because you needed to learn something you couldn't learn any other way," I said, my voice firm, no longer the weak widow. "You needed to learn the value of the things you had lost. The value of family, of respect, of responsibility. When you abandoned me, it wasn't just money you took. It was my dignity, my love, my trust." Tears streamed down her face, But they were not tears of self-pity. They were tears of profound, earth-shattering understanding. "I abandoned you when you needed me most," she said, her voice breaking. "I treated you like garbage. And you saved me anyway." "Yes," I said softly, "but not in the way you expected. I didn't save you by giving you money so you could keep making the same mistakes. I saved you by letting you hit rock bottom so you could learn to save yourself." Mr. Peterson quietly explained that he had handled all the legal work at my expense. "She was free. You can quit the cleaning job if you want," I said. She shook her head, a new light in her eyes. "No, I'm not going to quit. That job taught me the value of my own effort, the dignity of honest work." She looked at me not as a daughter to a mother, but as one adult to another. "Do you forgive me, Mom?" "I forgave you a long time ago, honey. The question is, can you forgive yourself?" Epilogue. A new foundation. Angela kept her word. She didn't quit her job. She went back to school, studying social work, paying her own way with the money she earned. She insisted on paying her share of the household expenses, treating our relationship as a partnership. We turned the reclaimed beach house, our family sanctuary, into a temporary shelter for women escaping domestic violence, a living tribute to Robert's generous spirit. One evening, we were sitting on the porch of the beach house, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and purple. "Mom," Angela said, her voice peaceful, "do you know what this whole experience taught me?" "What, honey?" "That true love isn't the one that tells you what you want to hear. It's the one that teaches you what you need to learn, even when it hurts." She looked at me, her eyes clear and full of a mature, earned love. "You taught me that true wealth comes from hard work, respect, and genuine relationships." I reached over and took her hand. Robert's legacy wasn't the properties or the bank accounts. It was the love that had held us together, even when it had to be tough, even when it had to break us to remake us. Justice had not arrived as revenge, but as redemption, and we had both gained something far more valuable than money: an authentic relationship built on a foundation of hard-won wisdom and respect that no storm could ever destroy. If you like this life-changing story, then like the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching.